are back with Tom Schlafly. Now, Tom, you were telling me backstage the origin of the Schlafly Brewery. It kind of went through some hoops originally when you guys were opening. It was illegal. That brewery was like illegal back in.
Oh, that's
91,
right.
Right.
I mean, I would say we faced 3 obstacles. First, there was the idea that in St. Louis there was the brewery. I mean, it didn't.
I don't. Which one?
It's the one owned by a Brazilian hedge fund now, right?
Okay.
I mean, they gave up their American citizenship. We did not.
Right.
So the idea of opening a brewery in the shadow of the brewery was considered heretical. People thought that the neighborhood where we chose to open was hopeless. It's the same neighborhood where the show is taking place right now, another hopeless neighborhood.
Yeah.
And also, it was illegal because we wanted to open a brew pub, and basically breweries were not allowed to have restaurants with liquor licenses unless they were called Busch Stadium or the Anheuser-Busch Soccer Park.
Right.
And so, anyway, that was...
It was so bad. You were mentioning it was kind of so rough back then. A movie was shot with your brewery, right, as a backdrop?
Yeah, Escape from New York. It was this there was this post-apocalyptic vision of where Manhattan had become a penal colony,
right.
And they couldn't find a neighborhood bad enough in the South Bronx, so they filled it where the tap room was.
And it was like just Schlafly beer, the best product placement you can get.
Oh,
right?
no, we weren't there. No, this is the building
right
we
before,
bought.
right?
The building had already been.
Did you see it in the movie and you're like, that one?
Oh yeah, I have to own that, right? Yeah, that place full of rats and asbestos. Need to buy that.
Yeah. Well, it worked out. It worked out very well, and now you guys have 2 locations, and both are thriving. In fact, those neighborhoods are both thriving.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a replication. We moved into another neighborhood that people thought didn't have much future. The building where the tap room is had only been vacant 22 years. In Maplewood, where Schlafly Bottle Works is, the building had been vacant 8 years. So, but there again.
Very cool.
Everyone said, "Oh, you're not going to Maplewood, are you?" And I said, "Well, no. I mean, it's worked out very well."
And going back to the original one, you had a funny kind of story you were telling about, like when you opened it, you kind of had it christened.
That was actually 7 years into when we opened the North Bar. We had. The mayor issue a proclamation, and we thought, well, we need some divine intervention. So Julius Hunter, his show was almost as big as this one.
Almost.
Said, so a rabbi, a Catholic priest, and an Episcopal priest go into a bar. That sounds like the start of a joke, but it's our next
But you really did it.
We really had it. We had multi-denominational blessing, and it must have worked, because we're still open.
Very cool, yeah. I mean, that was a brilliant idea and kind of a joke there. So what do you think in terms of the future of, we talked about the future of St. Louis, just of Schlafly itself. Where would you like to see the brewery go?
I really don't know how to answer that. I mean, because whenever we tried to do planning at the brewery, I said to people, okay, back up 5 years and say any year in our history, how was that foreseeable 5 years earlier? I mean, maybe Yogi Berra, that great St. Louis philosopher, said it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future.
But I'm asking you to put you on the spot, I guess.
Well, I mean, we'll continue to grow. What I think is going to happen is, I mean, St. Louis is still behind the national curve in the popularity of craft beer. I suspect St. Louis is going to start to look more like the rest of the country in that regard. I think St. Louis customers will realize they'd rather spend their money locally than with a Brazilian hedge fund, which owns...
Who shall not be named?
Yeah, no, never. And I think what's going to happen, there are going to be more craft beers opening, which is going to be good for beer consumers, and it's going to be more competitive for us. But basically, I would rather be surrounded by good breweries than mediocre ones.
There you go. So a bright future, at least for you and everybody else concerned. Everybody enjoy a beer, whether it is a Schlafly beer or otherwise. And we will be right back with Fog Lights, everybody.